What's more iconic than a final starter? Arguably the box legend and the starter's first forms, but we all know how much we clamour for a sneak peek of that final form. During Scarlet and Violet, we had the back of Quaquaval from a leak for so long. It was a tasty treat and something Game Freak knows we all want, like a delicious carrot on a stick. As a refresher on our Ostara and starters, I didn't want to go generic Australian. Mainly because I wanted to do two of my favourite animals, a sea slug and a red panda, and a little emu-esque sort of creature for the last. This allowed me to tie in some Aussie animals for early route mons instead. I also gave them slight changes from what you guys said were needed as well, so if you haven't already met them, here's Chicky, our grass starter, a little legume, a peafowl. They're aggressive and have Napoleon complexes. Then we have our fire starter Fuma, a little friendly red panda Pokemon, curious and cute while also having a matchstick tail. And finally the sweetest, goopiest starter ever, Prinslug, a small sea slug who is very receptive to the emotions of their trainer. Then they evolve into their awkward teenagers phase in Gleamew, Krakuma, and Royal, and in this video they finally become their final forms. But first, now that I've teased you a little, it's time to meet our rival and her Pokemon. So you'd pick your character's base, and then the other two characters would become sort of rivals for you in your journey to become champion. But there's one more facet of the game that you'd have a rival for, Pokemon Farm. This character would sort of be the person both spurring you on and helping you tend to your farm, and battling you in competitions about having the best produce and whatnot. Molly is the name of this rival, and she is named after the Australian inventor of permaculture. I based Molly sort of off Clara, not in terms of personality, she would be sweeter. Molly would also be a tech whiz, so I gave her a fancy glove and goggles and some overalls for her dual down and dirty businesses. Also, her hair is based on carrots, maybe a bit silly, but as you can see, Molly isn't the best at fashion, with clashing styles all around. I ended up changing her face a little bit to fit more with the style of Pokemon, it just kept irking me at first. Molly. While her older sister Fiona was off working on a construction business, Molly found herself deep in the creation of technology, and more than that, helping better the Pokemon farm system Professor Farfo was researching. You and Molly have been best friends forever, and although you rarely see her, she loves showing you her inventions and having a willing test subject. The most shocking thing that Molly has invented was Quaquaval, a Pokemon built specifically to assist in farms, able to care and synthesize seeds. This has skyrocketed Molly's fame to a new level, and her lack of free time as well. If you encounter Molly, her partner is Quaquaval, and the rest of her team is the Ostaran version of Oddish, Wombora, Coffee, Ibin, and Grubug. So let's take a closer look at her partner, Quaquaval, based on the Quokka, the happiest marsupials and possibly animals in the world. This Pokemon's based kind of on those robot dogs and other animals from the good old days, mixed in with a bit of those future Paradox Pokemon. And although it looks like it's from the future, it's still built in the present. I can imagine it rolling around the wind-up crank spinning and then spinning faster when angry. The LEDs were a bit of a pain to get looking good and right, but I think it works well, and it's holding a little baby seed ready to plop it down into the ground. Quaquaval, the caretaker Pokemon, a grass and electric type. Created by a close friend Molly, Quaquaval was built with farming in mind. Its battling prowess is quite low. The energy in the center collects small microsamples of seed left over by Pokemon that have eaten them and then synthesize them into new seeds, which it will plant, water, and take care of. Whether it was programmed in or not, Quaquaval seems to have a constant grin upon its face, and an upbeat tempo that it holds in even the gravest of situations. Quaquaval has a new ability called Seed Synthesis. This Pokemon will create seeds if it is not holding an item. The higher the Pokemon's level, the rarer seed that can be found. Okay, so I've teased you enough with rivals and other Pokemon. Let's get started on our final Evos. For these all, I wanted to go a little more monstrous. We've hit a bit of a dry spell for them, although Skeledirge really went the extra mile for it. Each of these except for maybe one leans to being a bit more Kaiju, I guess? But let's start with Gleamew's evolution. My first design for Terrawary was a good base, but it felt very off. My idea was a mix of a queenly ruler, a terror bird, and a cassowary. I'd end up keeping the almost cape-like wingtail thing and the side-cut vines, but I would definitely streamline it and make it a little more scary but also friendlier? That's hard to explain really. I would end up sticking with the wider fur for it kind of a unique colour coinciding with Chestnut, my fave grass starter. In the rework, I changed the pose. Instead of a more feral hunter hunched over, it stand up with more of a condescending but regal look, and still very much ready to hunt you though. I wanted a midway between stocky and live. Even though I liked the grass crown, it felt a bit over-designed for the whole Terrawary, so I got rid of it, but added the feather collar. Fancy! The colours are really kept the same, they were kind of kept clean so she looks a bit more regal. Terrawary would be a grass fighting type, just like Chestnut, with a big focus on speed and attack while being sort of frail, and with speed boost as a hidden ability they'd be quite deadly. Terrawary, the Terror Bird Pokemon, a grass and fighting type. Massive and fast, Terrawary is an apex predator from ancient times in the Ostara region. Thought to have gone extinct, little did we know that it was because Chicky fought Pokemon so much stronger than themselves that they rarely got a chance to evolve. It sees its trainer and fellow Pokemon as its children and will protect them ferociously, kicking opponents with highly muscular legs and feet, hiding diamond-hard talons for rending. Terrawary will only allow the best of trainer to ride it, all others will be bucked off. Terrawary has the ability Overgrow and Speed Boost. Terrawary has a signature move called Stealth Strike. It's an 80 base power physical grass type move. The user moves swiftly and stealthily through the bushes. It will then strike from behind. This move can't miss and will not activate effects from abilities or moves such as Spiky Shield or Rocky Helm. I've done it. I finally created a centaur starter. Sort of. I started with this massive thick lad, in awe at the size of him. I wanted to connect the water membrane and crown that Floral Royal had, so it has some water hands and 4 legs. Centaur, see? I also pushed it towards a more draconic face. I picked the water dragon typing for them. I know that's a bit strong, but it's defensive, not offensive. And with rubber body, it would be an absolute unit. I noticed just then that the white from the start of Princeslug slowly goes down in each evolution till it becomes the underside that's white. I gave a few tweaks to the design after I was done, including upping the contrast to make Regibranch stick out a bit more, and also changed the face. I did some art that I'll show later in the video that made Regibranch look a bit different, and I really liked the change, so I moved the eye and made everything on him a bit smaller. I think it keeps the monstrous look while also helping make it look friendlier. Regibranch, the Nudibranch Pokemon, a water and dragon type. An absolute wall of a Pokemon, not much phases Regibranch, it moves slowly but holds itself mighty and proud. Much like its pre-evolution, Regibranch has a membrane of mucus that helps block damage and can be manipulated like hand to grab what Regibranch normally cannot. Regibranch can spin rapidly to produce powerful whirlpools to sweep away anything on the battlefield. This is the fastest you'll see Regibranch go. Regibranch is deemed the ruler of the shores by many. Regibranch has the ability Torrent and Rubber Body, which reduces the damage from physical attacks and electric type moves. Regibranch gets a powerful new ability called Aqua Regalia, a 70 base power, 90 accuracy special type water move. The user cloaks itself in a whirlpool of water, then covers the entire battlefield, hitting all Pokemon on the field. This move also removes any hazards or terrain on the field. Empaku has a strange typing, fire normal. I think normal is underrated and deserves to be given to a starter. Why is it normal exactly? Well, to be honest, looking at it just made me feel like it's got that normal type. Maybe even a slight connection to a past ancestor with Beware. Definitely I wanted to touch on the vibes of Typhlosion with this one, a raging storm of fire and energy. Can you tell what the theme is here with all the starters as well? Empaku doesn't lose the ability to fire fireworks out of its tail like Krakuma, but instead it becomes the firework, unafraid of the explosion, and with its scowl it shows. It's a physical attacker like Terrawary, but more balanced with high attack but lower speed and pretty good defenses. And even gains a ghost immunity, but it does have a few weaknesses, but that's Pokemon baby! Empaku is even closer to Panda King from Sly Cooper, and with its signature move and ability it may have been a subconscious homage to it. Empaku, the Emperor Pokemon, a fire and normal type. Empaku coats every part of its body in the fluid it secretes before battle, its tail no longer being used as much for fun and now for tactical distractions in battle. When Empaku fights, it will throw itself at the enemy and ignite its fireproof body, exploding in a massive radius and damaging the opponent. This attack still damages Empaku, but it is always prepared. Despite this, the resulting explosion is quite beautiful. Empaku respect their trainers, especially ones who stay calm during battle. Empaku has the ability Blaze and a new ability called Flaming Emperor, which causes this Pokemon to deal increased damage with Fire-type moves, and all Fire-type moves hit adjacent opponents for a quarter of the move's damage. Empaku's signature ability is Firework Fist, a 120 base power physical Fire-type move with 80 accuracy. The user rushes in a flaming rage at the opponent, igniting themselves and exploding in a flashy array of light. This move always burns, but the user also takes damage. With the combo of Empaku's hidden ability and this move, Empaku would be a dangerous threat in battles. And our little buddies are all grown up. I really love all of them, and yeah, maybe that's my bias as I love the animals they're referenced from a lot, but I can see them being great adventuring pals. Even Terraway, who looks like a real grump of a Pokemon, I can see being really loving to its trainer. So now that the final forms have been revealed, what are your thoughts? Have you since changed your mind on who you were picking? And what do you think of Molly and Quokka? Next video is a bit of a secret, you'll enjoy it, I promise, and then after that I don't know. What would you all like to see next? The last poll had AI generated Pokemon redraws as the next highest after the previous ones, but I'd be up for suggestions. And I'd like to just say thank you all so much for the support so far, the subs, likes and comments, they all really help keep me motivated to keep doing this. There's plenty of content to be made and plenty of Ostara to explore, and I hope you'll stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video and sub if you want as well. I'll see you next time.
Speen! Speen!